Lego is building itself into the largest toy company. Did you read that article I wrote about investing on my son's behalf for the next 16 years or whatever? And I joke at the end about I wish I could buy shares in Lego. So this is really funny. And there's a reason for, like, I would kill to own this company. So go ahead.
So here's another one that kind of ties into recent episodes that where we covered like Disney and Star Wars, for example, and other toy companies. So Lego, privately held, but still a really amazing business. Incredible brand power. They report annual results since they're privately held, and they enjoyed an amazing 2015, where revenue increased 25% to 35.8 billion Danish kroner, which is about $5.2 billion. Their net profit rose 31% to about $1.3 billion. They enjoyed double-digit sales growth in pretty much all of their markets, and that, you got to keep in mind, that's far outpacing most countries where they're seeing industry growth at maybe like mid-single digits. And a lot of most evers for the company this year. They launched 350 new products in 2015, most ever for the company. They moved about 72 billion bricks and 725 million minifigures.
That is a lot
during
of
the
plastic.
year. And they, 100 million children interacted with the company through its toys and other initiatives. Interestingly enough, the best sellers for the year for the company were actually a castle from Frozen, Elsa's Frozen Castle. And number 2, which I thought would be number 1, was the awesome Millennium Falcon from Star Wars.
Wow.
And so Lego very quickly building up to potentially be the largest toy company in the world by revenue. That title is currently held by Mattel. So, as I mentioned, Lego logged $5.2 billion in revenue for 2015. Mattel had $5.7 billion. And the thing is, the trajectories are very different.
Right.
Lego's been in a great growth path. Mattel's been in an opposite one, but the effects of that are a little different. They were grappling with the falling popularity of some of their bigger brands like American Girls and Barbie, and they've also been hit really hard by some of the currency fluctuations and the strength of the US dollar, obviously. But they only had $540 million in operating income, and compare that to Lego, which had net profits of $1.3 billion. And Lego's been well known as being the most profitable toy company in the world. And so Mattel here they've seen a turnaround in some of their other brands, but they're anticipating a pretty tough 2016 because they lost that Disney Princess licensing deal. And overall, for Lego, at least looking ahead, the CFO, John Goodwin, he noted that for this year, they're going to really focus on markets in Latin America and in Asia. It's really crazy because China, they think it's like tip of the iceberg for them, but they saw 35% growth in that market last year.
Yeah.
And then, an issue that they had with such incredible success on the back of Star Wars and these and Disney's Frozen, for example, and Lego Movie, is that they're having a hard time, honestly, keeping up with demand. So they encountered some operational difficulties, especially during the holiday season. So the company, and another one of their most evers, poured about $410 million into their manufacturing facilities in 2015, with expansions in like China and their other facilities. It's the most they've ever spent in their company history, and so they also increased their workforce 20% during the year.
Wow.
And then long term, the company has had an incredible run. They've had a decade of 15% annual growth. So management's, I guess, trying to temper expectations a bit, saying like, this isn't going to be sustainable forever, but they're expecting a really strong 2016 again with double-digit growth. And they managed to quadruple sales in the past decade, which has otherwise been a period that's kind of hurt a lot of the other toy companies because, you got mobile devices, electronics taking a lot of mind share and market share away in terms of from traditional toys. And I think Lego's going to be riding some of these trends pretty well because they got, they had the really successful 2014 Lego Movie. They have some games coming out, more on the electronics video game side. To build up on.
No, I've got multiple fairly large tubs in my parents' basement for when I was a kid with Lego, and it was kind of a big deal then. And what it's become and the pandemonium that you see when I took my 2-year-old to the Lego store at Tyson's Corner Mall.
Yes, I've been there.
And I like worried about his safety because he's smaller than all the other kids, and we're trying to navigate through here. And it was just like,
well, it's funny you mentioned that. I was home this past weekend at where I grew up.
Did you build your old Legos?
And I had to do a lot of cleaning up around the house in the garage, and I found so many of our old Legos, and it is
you wanted to sit down
definitely a brand and a toy that, despite its simplicity and how popular it has been, it's not seeing any decrease. Right. It's kids still love it, even with all the electronics and other competition that seems to be taking away from the traditional toy segment.